Hello everybody, this is Iced Blood. Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIII. After a taste of the Japanese voice track last episode, we are back to good old English. The majority of the playthrough is going to have the voices set to English just so that it's easier for most of us ignorant Americans to play along. Clearly most of the game is still set in English and it matches up with the voice track. It matches up the voice track to the subtitles and there's no confusion or anything like that. So, plus it's just easier to go with because, it's my native language and I understand how it works. So, anyway, we have left Snow behind and hopefully he doesn't end up in trouble. So let's see where we are. We're encased in crystal on Lake Brescia. And I still have not figured out just how many people were murdered thanks to the fal'cie dying. Okay, what's this tutorial about? Techniques. Okay, spend TP. Use techniques. What techniques do I have? Libra, okay. It's gonna tell me some specifics? Yeah, some abilities and weaknesses. Okay. Deal damage more efficiency. It's vulnerable to fire and water. Oh, okay. So thanks to this move, now my AI compatriots, and well actually just the AI in general, knows to use certain spells. Okay. Well, that's useful. Okay, how do we want to do this? I'm not entirely sure we're going to be able to get his... Because I don't know if we're going to be able to get him staggered. Because it's going up pretty slow. What if we try this one? We'll keep Commando to keep the gauge going without it dropping off really quickly. But we'll have 2 Ravagers. And there's... Okay, that's a bit better. Okay. See, the reason that the gauge is going down relatively slowly is because of Lightning as a commando. Her attacks keep it that way. So this is definitely useful. It's still charging power. Hopefully it won't be too devastating. I'd rather not have to wait. I have to wait and use one of my medic paradigms. We're just about done. There we go. Alright, so then I like to switch to 3 Ravagers when something's staggered, just to up our damage. Okay, that worked decently well. I'm honestly not entirely sure if my personal tactic works. It seems to work. From what I recall of my first playthrough, that worked out well. When something is staggered, use 3 Ravagers. That tends to be how I handle things in any case. Is there anything? Yes. Treasure was hiding itself. A Libroscope. Primarch. Is that like an organization or a single person? Primarch. I'm guessing it's the government. Prime. I don't know. I suppose we'll find out later. For now, let's see what we got. Uh-oh. What is that? The army is mobilizing.
They must be hunting down Purge survivors.
I hope everyone made it out okay.
So do I. But nowhere is safe for them now. Damn it. Just cause they shared a neighborhood with a fal'cie. They get treated like Pulse-tainted rats.
People really hate Pulse, don't they?
Not hate. More like fear. Tens of millions of people. All scared of Pulse boogeymen.
Huh.
They'd be shaking in their beds every night if they knew that l'cie like us were around.
But they purged that entire town.
It's crazy, I know. But the Sanctum fal'cie did nothing to stop it.
Oh, there's a separate one
Up
for
until
Sanctum,
now,
huh?
Eden's always stepped in to correct their errors in judgment.
Eden, that's another summon. That one's from, 8.
Humans aren't worth the effort. Figure they'll let us just kill each other off.
fal'cie are not human.
Listen, you. That's enough.
So Prejudice gets on Vanille's case. Or rather, gets on her nerves.
We're still alive. That's something.
See, there we get a little bit of insight, actually. She uses a peppy, like, effervescent demeanor to cover up when she's upset. Clearly. I mean, and that's kind of been the case through the entire game so far. But that's one of the first, like, overt, clear-cut examples of it. But Vanille's definitely got a thing about mistreatment of fal'cie.
Shooting off the area. They're trying to trap the stragglers.
She doesn't want to upset Hope too much. She's soft on him. She's definitely soft on him. Not that I can blame her. You know, I think I said in an earlier episode that Vanille seems closest in age to Hope, but I gotta wonder, she might be a fair bit older, actually. I think Hope is definitely the youngest of the party. He's the baby of the family, and Vanille at least is making allowances for that. I don't know about the others, I have my doubts. Well, Snow obviously makes certain allowances for youth. He seems very big on protecting everybody, but you know. I don't know. Some interesting inter-party conflicts going on. But clearly I think Hope shows a product of his society's thought process. Like, I'm sure most people think, you know, fal'cie aren't human. That's the whole idea. They're monsters. They're terrible. They're unpredictable. They're scary. You know, it has a witch hunt feel to it. Because we can suddenly use magic now that we're fal'cie. So clearly that's where magic comes from. So it definitely has a thing where, they can do things different from us. We're terrified of them. Let's murder them all. And clearly, like, this is going, like, it's bordering on genocide here. Because, of course, they're targeting everybody that's even connected to fal'cie or fal'cie. So, like, this is a big, like a very dystopian story so far. Like, it's an advanced society, and they're full of technological innovations and all that kind of stuff. But we're still human. We still hate each other. We still despise and distrust things that are different from us. And so that's where this whole thing comes in. Because most of these folks were just like everyone else in their society. Suddenly they're different, and they realize that, you know what, maybe our ideals aren't holding up. So it's a very very human story, you know. Let's try this. Okay. So, I think this is why I like Relentless Assault, because a stagger gauge can go up very quickly with Ravagers, but as you can see, it goes down just as fast. So, using Ravagers to get it up, but then a Commando to keep it up, that's why Relentless Assault works as well as it does. Doing okay. But I'm never sure just how well I have to do in order to get 5 stars. And again, I don't actually know what it means to get 5 stars versus 4 or 3. Well, that wasn't too horrible, I suppose. Average. Okay, I guess. Okay. So what about over here? Is there anything over here? Yes! Remember the golden rule, folks. If there's a fork in the road, always go the wrong way first. You'll find interesting stuff. So this is a very human story. Very typical. But honestly, like, you could even say, oh, it's a cliche. And it is, I think. You know, this sort of, you know, people are, you know, a small group of people are ostracized from their community, and they realize that their ideals weren't all they thought they were. Like, that's total cliche. But here's where my personal theory on cliches comes in. I don't agree with the idea of avoiding cliches just because they're cliches, and here's my idea. The reason that a cliche exists is because an idea has been used so much that it's old hat. It's predictable. It's obvious. We all see it coming. But that's the thing, like, the storylines that become cliche, like this one, for example, or, you know, any number of other ones, you know, the old friend who betrayed who betrayed everything they believed in for some unknown reason, or the villain who wants to take over the world, or the villain who wants to destroy the world, or, you know, any number of things. The reason they're cliches is because they work. You know, and like people ask, you know, why can't Hollywood come up with new movie ideas? Well, it's because, oh shit, that went badly. I have no idea why. That's it. The game is it's a Hollywood conspiracy. They heard me bashing on cliches or something, and even though I wasn't, and I don't know, whatever. I'm not good at coming up with conspiracy theories. So okay, what I was saying is, cliches are cliches because they work, and the reason that Hollywood or you know, big movie corporations always come out with the same movie, and you know, every year, you know, a bunch of sequels and all that kind of stuff. I mean, even this series had 2 sequels. Why is that? Because they sold. Because that's what we as an audience support. Why don't indie developers or indie movie producers, why don't they get recognition? We don't buy it. We don't support the high art. We don't support the innovative ideas. What we end up, as a society, what we end up supporting are the cliches. Why? Because they work. They're comforting. They're familiar. And so I look at a cliche, personally, this is just my personal viewpoint on how to use them, is to use them not necessarily even way, you know, use a cliche in an innovative way. Not even so much that. It's basically use a cliche if that's what the story needs. Right? Without reservation. Don't apologize. You know, say you're a creative person and you're coming up with an idea, a story or a movie or a game or whatever, and you're like, oh, this is too cliche, I can't use this. No. If that's what the story needs, use it. And in this case, I like to think that that's how this game was made. This game needed all the different cliches that, you know, might show up in character interaction, in motivation, in setting, whatever. All those cliches, they exist for a very specific reason. And it's not because the developers are lazy. I think it's very clear this is not a lazy effort, right? Because, I mean, this game is very, very well polished. And it took several years to come out. I refuse to believe that Square Enix was lazy when they made this. So I think, personally, that they use all these different ideas that are very controversial and very pervasive and like divisive among the fan base. They used all those things because that's what they viewed the game as needing. Now the issue being, of course, a lot of consumers disagreed with that. Well, that's the thing, though. It is ultimately Square Enix's game, and what they decide it needs, that's what it gets. And in this case, it ended up being a lot of cliches, unfortunately, or fortunately, as the case may be. I'm not entirely sure. Personally, I think that I think things turned out okay. I like how it turned out. But anyway, I'm gonna get off my soapbox. We're gonna end the video here, and we're gonna see what happens next time. So sorry about that. Bye bye.